Let's have a look at this story then. Schofield, I was thinking about this. Phillip Schofield is not... people use that phrase, he's a dead man. He's not a dead man walking anymore. He's done, dusted, and the funeral is underway. It's almost as simple as that. I'm slightly disturbed by where truth meets innuendo and gossip and rumour. And if you look at social media, it's utterly horrific. There's a lot of incredibly unqualified bile being wheeled out against what is clearly a man that was, well, at best, very, very unwise in his decisions behind the scenes. I think we can all safely say that. A man who it appears quite a few people who worked alongside him didn't like very much. That's not necessarily a reason in itself to cancel someone's entire career. But make no bones about it. I can't imagine Schofield ever really working again. The innuendo is too strong, it's too powerful, the suggestion of what might have happened, it was an affair but he knew him some year, blah, blah, blah. And folk are just social media, which is the den of iniquity, the playground of hyperbole, the pen of mischief like nothing else. We'll just wheel this stuff out knowing, well, we're probably not going to get sued. And if you look on social media, you will see all those unsavoury terms that are being used, none of which can be legally substantiated, and it just becomes rumour. But it's probably enough for a lot of companies to go, not sure we want to get involved with this guy anymore. I mean, after all, what he's actually guilty of is an internal breach of, if you like, workplace rules. It would be that. I'm more disturbed by the head honchos, frankly, at ITV. The journalist JJ Anisiobi has sadly is joined us now, which is always puts a smile on the face, JJ, when you pitch up in our studio. You know the world of show business rather well. We have talked many, many times over the last couple of years. I mean, this Schofield story, which is... I mean, my neighbour said to me the other day, went, oh, you were spot on about Schofield. And I said, oh, right, I'd forgotten I'd even said to him ages ago, because you do tell people that you know, that this story about this affair with a younger worker was kind of out there. Mm-hmm. Everybody knew it within the industry. Yeah. Some people on social media had teased it. Everybody apart from all the board at ITV.
And Holly.
And Holly, who sat next to him for 29 years, or whatever the hell it was. They didn't know nothing.
Yeah.
It's a bit strange, isn't it? Is Holly just so naive, and is she so consumed with being nice and decent and just getting on with her job? Hello, everybody, I'm Holly. Is it that?
I think a part of it is when you've got a couple who are married and the husband's playing away loads and everyone knows about it, and the wife asks the husband, well, Maureen said that you've been cheating on me. Is that true? And the husband goes, no, Maureen's a busybody. What does she know? And that's enough. And the wife's like, OK, my mind's at rest. That's what I think happened with Holly. Because don't forget, she was getting at least £700,000 a year to work 4 days a week, sat on a sofa, doing links between, next we're talking to the fattest woman in Britain. And after that, cooking with Gino. Like, that was her job, 4 days a week. Every half-term school holiday she got to have off, and then she got a whole load of sponsorship deals on the side of that. So she had a very cushy role. There's no... I can't believe that if she had gone and complained and asked them to do a proper investigation, a thorough look into Phillip Schofield, I can't imagine that it would have turned out any differently for her than it did for Eamon Holmes, Ruth Langsford, Ryland, Dr. Range, all people who complained and made a fuss and eventually were managed out of that show.
But were they people that just didn't like Schofield? That's the point, isn't it? Were they people that just thought... Because the one thing he did say, which had some truth in his Insta statement, was that, you know, have you noticed it's the same 3 or 4 voices here? And he's obviously talking about Kim, what's-her-face, Eamon Holmes... and Dr. Range and maybe Amanda Holden possibly, but they seem to be the people saying the same thing. And if you drill down on it, JJ, what most of them are saying is they just didn't like this bloke very much.
No, this is what he's done is the typical reaction you get from men in power when they're caught. No, well, it's not me. I'm not the problem. They're the problem. Well, actually, no. What Phil's actions within work were a problem. Even me as a journalist, 3-4 years ago, when I've emailed Philip's representation, I've emailed people this morning, I've been shut down. I've been threatened with legal from those people saying, if you print that story, we're going to sue you. And it's like, but actually, it's now been proven that the allegations that we knew about were true. But at the time, it was always shut down. ITV did a cover-up to protect their big money-making star. And now they've finally let him go. They're now doing a cover-up for Holly. They're trying to protect Holly as much as they can do. Yeah. The public aren't stupid.
She's never going to return to that sofa, is she?
I don't think she will. I can't see how she can possibly return. I don't think the show can carry on. I think they'll take the summer hiatus. They'll be off for 2-3 months, and then they'll can this morning.
and put it on at 2 o'clock and call it this afternoon. Maybe they'll do that.
Maybe.
Is that the only? Is that the only way?
That's the only way they can save it now. But you're right. The top brass are in trouble
because a lot of the because you're right. The crime, if that is the right word, that he has committed. Let's assume this kid was, when their affair started, was 18 or whatever. They were regularly pictured out together. It wasn't. He would probably say in his defence, well, we were out in plenty of places. They were
hiding in plain sight.
Hiding in plain sight. Nothing was being hidden in one respect. But the fact is, in the workplace, it's a power thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And what I find amazing about this, JJ, is all this would have happened while they would have been on that sofa discussing the Me Too campaign. I bet they probably did it. If you look back through their running orders, probably did it 100 times.
Yeah.
The Me Too campaign, Harvey Weinstein, all of those kind of characters.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at no point did Phillip think to himself, actually, this is kind of what I'm doing here.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then what do you do if the kid comes along and goes, well, yeah, I was 18, but it was completely consensual. There was nothing weird about that. I wanted an affair.
He wanted an affair, but as you say, the problem is the power dynamic. That if there's a picture of them all on stage at the NTAs when they've won Best Daytime Show for the 50th time or whatever it is, and you look at all the people who are on that stage, it's all talent, and then it's the top brass executives, and then it's this runner boy. There's no reason...
What would he be doing on there?
Exactly, because he was Philip's boy. Philip had made it so that he could be there on stage. Tickets to the NCAs to be in the celebrity part, that's like a diamond in that world. It's hard to come by. So the fact that this kid who's a runner is up on stage with all the people the top people who make the show actually work, there's no reason for him to be there. So when ITV then say, look, first they said they didn't know about it. Then they said, oh, yes, we investigate this in 2020. And now it's come out that Phil had paid this kid £300,000 apparently as he was departing to leave to go and work at Loose Women. The whole thing stinks, and this is from the top to the very bottom of this. And
the suggestion of taxes being paid to
who's booking these cars?
Who was booking the cars?
Yeah, who's booking
somebody
the cars?
Somewhere up that pecking order. Whether it's a producer, the producer would have had to add it. We both know how the whole taxi system works.
Yeah.
It's the bane of any media company's world. Who gets a cab? Who doesn't get a cab?
Yeah,
and how they're paid for it. Somebody would have okayed this.
Yeah.
And their boss would have okayed it as well, and it would have gone up the food chain in that respect. The idea that the head honcho at ITV didn't know what was going on here is a nonsense.
It beggars belief.
It beggars belief. This is a woman that had no truck with getting Piers Morgan out the door because she felt that this was a guy that, his... if you like, anti-wokeness didn't suit what she wanted. Come from the Guardian, be kind, different kind of thing. But somehow we're led to believe, was completely, utterly unaware of everything that everybody else in the media knew.
Yeah.
Under her own watch.
I think part of this was because Phillip Schofield had come out as gay. And I think perhaps with ITV, they were thinking, we shouldn't go after him. And actually, we should be protecting him and looking after him because he's come out. He's been married for X amount of years. He's come out, and now, if we go after him, this could look bad on us.
But it's not illegal to be gay. Nobody judged him on being gay. Lots of people already knew he was gay. There was no big, in that respect.
But they've lied to us from.
That's a terrible judgment for ITV to make.
100%. But they've lied to us from the beginning. 3 weeks ago, everyone's saying the tension between Holly and Phil, they're not speaking. ITV deny it. Phil puts out a statement saying she's my rock. 4 days later, he has to step down because Holly doesn't want to work with him. They've lied from the very beginning of all of it. So you can't trust anything that they say now.
Is that separate then? That him and Holly fell out, is that separate to this?
I think it's linked. Holly feels, essentially, that she is now collateral damage and is getting tarnished because of Phil's actions. And she claims that Phil lied to her. So when Phil admitted that he'd had this affair with the runner, her comment was, it's taken a while to process. I'm very hurt. It's very hurtful what he's done. He's lied. I asked him about this and he denied it. He lied to my face. When he came out as gay, having lied to his wife for 25 years, Holly said, I'm very proud of Phil. So it's okay for lies in some situations from Phil. It's not okay for lies in other situations. Holly Willoughby's out now to save herself, and she can save her career. This morning, she's done for. But she can save her career as a presenter and on ITV if she leaves the brand.
Because the bottom line, even if, again, say it for the umpteenth time, nothing illegal, whatever, however early this... lots of people end up dating somebody who they might have just known years back.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean to say they were grooming them. It doesn't mean to say that they were having anything with them then. People can make their own guesses on that. But if you were standing in a court of law, you'd never be able to prove that just on innuendo and hearsay. But it's the power thing. It's the power thing. And while they were discussing how Hollywood producers would exploit young actresses just because they were rich and powerful, they'd date them and the girls didn't know how to say no, so they just went along with it, that her co-host was doing exactly that.
Yeah.
And she said nothing because apparently she knew nothing about it. That has got to be cobblers.
Yeah, I don't believe that she knew nothing about it. I think she turned a blind eye to it because it was convenient for her, and now it's no longer convenient for her to be associated with Phillip, and now she's doing all she can to disassociate herself.
The question here, is ITV telling the truth on this?